Well, it was definitely tough out there, but it certainly paid off. Well, welcome back to Finding America. It's really great to see you here. Well, I have to say, this past weekend was brutally hot, and most sane people would have never left their front door. But I just had to get back out there and do some detecting. Now, in most places, the ground was hard as concrete, so I decided to head back to one of my favorite spots, the old mill worker houses along the river, where at least the ground would be a little bit softer to dig in. Well, that Friday morning, some thunderstorms and rain kept me from getting out too early. And I thought, well, maybe this will help cool things down. Well, no such luck. It actually made things so much worse. But I still wanted to go detecting, so I grabbed my Equinox 800 and headed out the door. Now, it was hard hunting to say the least, but I am so glad I got out there. Okay, well, I had planned on getting out early this morning, but we had thunderstorms and rain, which I thought would be a good thing. So I got out, it's about 1 o'clock, and now it just feels like I'm walking through a sauna. But what I'm doing, I'm down here on the river at the mill workers' houses. I just decided to heck with it. I may last only an hour or two, but I wanted to run the 15-inch coil part 2, see if I can get some things I might have missed before. And every time I come out here I find something. This was giving me a 16. I dug down and check it out. I saw it pop out. It looks to be a jewelry pin in the shape of a leaf. How cool is that? Very happy to find that. So it was about 4 or 5 inches down, and should clean up really nice, but another little pretty piece from this area. Well, this signal was giving me a 12. I filled the hole in, but it was about 6 inches deep. And I just thought I'd show it to you because I enjoy finding these old hand tools. But it's an old iron chisel. We could have used that for stone work or just about anything, but I don't know. I enjoy digging up the old tools. Well, this is kind of cool. I dug down about 8 inches, got this piece of garbage. But I did get a nice little bonus find. And this popped up. It's actually the back of a porcelain doll's head. It's the hair. So that's pretty neat. Nice early 1900s piece at least. Well, that big coil is coming through again. I tell you, it's been a while since I've used it because it's been so dry and the ground's so hard. But down here on this particular area along the river, it's a lot of river bottom soil. So while it's dry, it's still pretty soft. I can get down in it. This one was giving me a 12, and I found something that I really enjoy finding, and I find quite a few of them here. Now I cleaned it off a little bit. Now these are iron back overall or jean buttons. Now you can see there's a crack coming through, and that happens a lot of times because the iron rusts and then it sort of pushes the button face out. But I had to take a little magnifying glass this one. It's not one that I found. I still don't know exactly what it is, but I think I can make out the word sanforized. But it's a pretty neat one, and I haven't found it before, so I'll get it home and work on it, and we'll see if I can get any more detail off of it. But very happy to find these. Well, in the early 1900s, it was really hard to keep track of all the workwear companies because they were constantly buying each other out and merging to form new companies. And in 1926, Big Ben of Kentucky bought Big Bell of North Carolina. But they ended up deciding to keep the Bluebell name for their newly merged company. Well, to make things even more confusing, in 1936, Bluebell announced their brand new line of overalls called Super Big Bens, which my button was originally on. Well, some of you may recall from some past history segments in my videos on this subject that Bluebell eventually became known as Wrangler, and that's a pretty interesting story. In 1943, Bluebell bought out yet another workwear company called Casey Jones Workwear. Well, as luck would have it, one of the things that Bluebell acquired when they purchased Casey Jones were the rights to a name that Casey Jones seldom even used, Wrangler. Now, they liked that name so much that 4 years later, in 1947, they released their authentic Western wear line, denim jeans, denim jackets, and they gave it the name Wrangler. And as they say, the rest is history. Well, it was so crazy hot out there, I gave up. I only lasted an hour and a half out there. So I got in my car, I cranked my AC up, and I started driving home. And as I was driving home, I passed a place that I've always wanted to ask permission for. And believe it or not, I saw the owner standing there for the first time ever. So I did a quick U-turn, headed back, because I always thought this place was going to be a little bit special. Now what it is a big field that sits right across from the main entrance of a very old cemetery. And I always felt that it was a perfect place for people to park their cars when they came to visit. So I got out of the car, talked to the owners, and they readily gave me permission. Now I knew I wasn't going to last very long out in that heat, but I wanted to give it a try, and I have to say my persistence definitely paid off. Well, I was getting a nice 25-26 signal here. Not very deep. Got a little cap gun piece. It says load here. Pretty cool little piece there. Well, I was digging a 13 here. It's pretty far down, 5-6 inches. Thought I had a bullet casing, but it's actually an old lipstick tube. You can see the slide right there. And that slide was invented right around the late 20s. And this one on the bottom, it actually has something there. Got a car going by. But it says raspberry. So pretty cool. Definitely going to put it into 30s. I got another early piece right here. It was giving me a 21, 22. Fished it out from some roots down below, but I got an early valve stem retaining nut for a Model T era car. Okay, I was getting a 28, 29, hoping for a quarter. It was 8 inches deep, 7/8. Got a glint of silver down there. I'm going to show it to you. Not a coin though, but something pretty darn cool. Look at that. I think it's going to be an old bicycle bell. That's really neat. So, still got some of the chrome plating on it, but that's a neat little find. Maybe someone rode their bike here. So, it's hot. It's really hot. I'm going to give you a little peek of where I am so you know what I'm talking about. You can see the gravestones in the distance. I'm in a big field across the street. Now, like I said, I always felt that people parked here when they came for a funeral, and I really think I'm onto something here. Got a 12. You can see how deep that is. 8 inches, just like concrete. But I got another lipstick tube. And that makes sense to me because I can see the women getting out of their cars, touching up their makeup, and yeah, it's definitely panning out the way I'd hoped. And I'm going to keep on going and see what else I can find. But that's the second tube of lipstick I found, and it's an old one, just like the last one. Well, I wanted to show you something I dug a hole ago. I didn't film it, but I should have. It's this gave me an 11, and I think it's part of horse tag. So I think people were coming up here with their wagons, obviously before cars were invented. This could be a very interesting spot. Now, this hole, I was getting a 20, and check it out. I have a very green penny sitting in my drop cloth. Now I'm going to get a toothpick. I don't know. It definitely has a good chance of being an Indian or an early. It's either an Indian or early wheatie. But I'll be right back. I'm gonna toothpick it and see what we've got. Well, it's an early wheatie. Pretty green one too. I believe it's a teens wheatie. Having a little trouble making it out. I'll have to work on it when I get home, but I will definitely take that. I tell you what, so far every signal I've dug in this field has been old. And a little bonus item too on this formation, there's a 1920s house off to the side too that I get to hunt. But the field's been calling my name for too long, so I had to start here. Well, got a 12 here and got a shotgun stamp. This one's gonna be a western field round, 12 gauge. So I like dating these, kind of gives me an idea when people were here, so I'll check that one out. Well, I'll tell you, got another 22-23, and this is my third. I haven't been filming them all, but that's my third Model T retaining nut. And I always felt that people probably parked here. And it started back in the 1880s. So I think I might be on the right track because that's the third one I've dug so far. And I'm hoping they fish some coins out of their pockets along with their keys. Well, we're going to keep on going here. Well, this is pretty cool. Got a 16 dug down, and check it out. I got the entire valve stem. I'll tell you, this was a field full of Model Ts. And so I found 3 retaining nuts and 1 complete valve stem for the old inner tube wood spoke wheels. It's getting hot. I can't even pronounce my words right. Well, no sooner did I say I hope they fished some coins out of their pockets when they got their keys out. Got a nice high tone, 29 to 32, really, really high. And I just popped something out. Figured out what the pinpointer was right here, and I popped it out, and I think I got a silver dime. How about that? I will take that. Whew, it's hard hunting out here. I think, yeah, it's gonna be a rosy. That's cool. I'm gonna get my spray anyway because the ground is like concrete on it. Let's see if I can aim my sprayer. Yeah, it's definitely silver. Very nice. That's a great sign. No one else thought about this field. 1951. There we go. Ah, that's awesome. Philadelphia. Whew. All that work in the heat is starting to pay off. I'll take that. Well, we had another mystery item solved. You may recall in a previous video called Old Glory, the little item that I just couldn't figure out that was marked B.F. Goodrich. Well, thanks go to Rocky, who was the first to let me know that that was actually an air baffle that went inside a very old B.F. Goodrich hand air pump. So I want to say thank you to Rocky and everyone else that helped in identifying that baffling little find. Well, I'd planned to go back out the very next morning and do some more metal detecting, but the heat from the previous day had me a little bit, I was rethinking some things. But the thought of getting back to that 1800s house permission one more time got me to pack up my gear and head out the door. Now, I knew I wasn't going to last long, but I was going to give it my best shot. And once again, it paid off. Well, I'm out here in the outer field of this permission, and first thing was giving me a 13. It was about 6-7 inches. This ground is still really dry. We're waiting for some rain. But my signal turned out to be an old shotgun shell. I just thought it was kind of neat. It's a it's a UMC. It's a Nitro Club 12 gauge. So definitely has a little bit of age to it. And see what else I get here. Well, this one was giving me a 19 to a 21. Oh, I tell you, I cannot wait for the cool weather. This is really, really bad out here today. I hope I can go the distance here, but let me get back to this hole. Quit whining. Anyway, I got this pretty cool piece of metal here. It's probably brass or something, but I don't see anything on it, but I wanted to film it just in case it turned out to be something interesting. So, I'm going to keep on going. Well, this is giving me a pretty big signal. It's giving me a 12, so I was expecting iron, and that's exactly what it was. But it's kind of an interesting piece. It's big, solid cast. I don't know what it was. Some kind of farm implement maybe, but pretty unusual looking. I have no idea. Anyone has any ideas out there? Be interesting to hear. Well, this one was giving me a 10. Nice signal, and dug down about 4 inches in. I got an inner frame to the mechanism for a pocket watch. So that's pretty cool. Well, I tell you, this one was a real surprise. I got another 13. I've been digging them all day. Most of them are garbage. I dug down here and I started to see some white. I'm like, what the heck is that? And check this out. I'm gonna pop this the rest of the way out. Look at this. It is a perfect original doorknob. Look at that. That is awesome. So cool. You usually don't find them complete, usually broken. That is awesome. So happy with that. I'll take it. I'm telling you, I'm just happy to get anything today because it is just so hot. Well, this is pretty darn cool. Right there is where I got that porcelain doorknob, and thrilled to death to get that. And then I moved over here, and see that in the hole? That was giving me a 34 banging signal. I'm like, hey, you know, I'll take a silver dollar, but unfortunately it wasn't, but I don't care as long as it's old and cool. And this is old and cool because look at this. That is that's a lock to a door. So I'm thinking that knob and that lock were related, and I got a feeling sometime 100 years ago they threw a door away and the door rotted, and there's the lock mechanism, and there's the doorknob. So that is pretty cool. They're going to remain together for the rest of their lives here now that I've got them, and I'll get it cleaned up, and who knows, maybe it'll have a maker's mark on it or something interesting to see, but I'm thrilled to have that. That is really cool. Well, I catch my breath again. Whew. Okay, got a 14 in this one. Wasn't very deep. Actually, it was a 13, now that I recall. Wasn't very deep, about 3 inches. And I got the whole adjuster mechanism for the wick of an oil lantern, including the little wheel, the adjusting wheel. Now, if you're new to the hobby, a lot of times you can clean that wheel off and sometimes get a patent date. And I'll have to wait till I get home. It's all falling apart in my hands here. I'll stick it in the fragile box and then see if there's anything on that wheel. So, nice little period find. I like it. Well, kind of, hopefully maybe, I don't know, good item? I'm starting to stammer. Anyway, 15 was the signal. 5-6 inches down, I pop out what appears to be a 2-piece button. Kind of an unusual shank. And I thought it was just a button back, but now I'm not so sure. But I'm not going to mess with it until I get home It might just be pushed in. I thought maybe I had a Civil War button or something, but I don't know what it'll be. It seems like there's something else on it. Could be civilian, don't know. But I'll work on it when I get home. I can barely see it through the sweat in my eyes anyway. But I'm very happy to have dug that up. Well, I think I've got something pretty good in the hole here. I have certainly earned it today. Oh, Lordy. So, let me get my breath back here. I got a 11, and I'm like, hey, sounds pretty good. I'm going to dig it. And looks like I got an old nickel. I'm going to show you. It was in the middle of the hole. I just popped it out, and I can see it there. Now, sometimes when you get an 11 with a nickel, it'll be a shield nickel. So I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to be a V or a shield. I don't know. Ooh. And of course, as usual, it's going to be very worn. So let me toothpick this, and I'll be right back. Hopefully, we can figure out what I just found. Oh boy, it is so worn, but I can make out the 5 in the middle. I just dug a shield nickel. Oh, it's probably the most worn shield nickel I have ever pulled out of the ground. But I can see the 5 right there, and I can see, I think, United States along the outer edge. Whew, how awesome is that? Maybe I'll be able to get a little more detail. It's so worn. But I'll work on it when I get home. But thankfully, I could just make out the 5 in the center. Oh, that's so awesome. Hey, it's been a hard day, and this little worn nickel definitely made my day. Well, a lot of you probably know how much I love old historical photos, and some of my favorite types are pictures of street scenes taken long ago. They give us such an amazing window back in time. We can see the people, their faces, the cars, the buildings, the advertising, and everything in those old amazing photos. And I have some of my very favorite ones coming up right now. And remember, it's history that makes a find a treasure, and I cannot wait to see you back here next week on Finding America.